Good morning. Good morning. I'm the first one here. Good morning and welcome to Write With Me. This is day 2. I am continuing with my historical fiction research. Let's see here. Just this lighting a little bit better, maybe. Okay. Wait till some people come in. Uh-oh. It's so weird seeing yourself actually reversed. Okay. Used to this whole thing. This way, this way, this way. Okay. This way. Okay. Well, yesterday was a really great day. I felt so fulfilled and accomplished by getting up early and getting back to um, working on my historical fiction novel. Um, I'm going to give, actually, because it's just now 5 a.m., so people probably will just now start popping in. This collar is bothering me. Wrong side, this side. Let's do this. This cover. That's annoying me. Okay. So, but yeah, it felt great to get back into it and even discover some new things. Because as I was saying yesterday, I completely, with not with one, but with some of the books I've been reading about Peter Crosby, um, basically he was the sheriff that was elected in 1873. And then because of white supremacists, he was forced out of office and forced to resign. And so when the day that the 600-person mob showed up to force him to resign, he left, he fled his office. And I knew he went to someone's house based on one of the books by Christopher Waldrop, but I didn't know who. And so I've been going through the testimonies from the congressional hearings. And yesterday I was reading the testimony of Andrew Owen, and that's the person's house that he went to. So I'm still in that particular testimony right now. And I was so excited to find out that was him, and I got more of a play-by-play of what actually happened. And so really thrilled by that. Let's see, it is, I give a couple more minutes. It's only 5:02 before I just go ahead and start my sprint. And that's the thing about this too, like people can come in and out as you go. You can, again, I'm doing this challenge for 30 days. I'm doing it mainly just to get me back in the habit. I'm a television writer and producer. I've been in the industry for it'll be 30 years in November, and actually a little bit or longer than that, because I actually started out in broadcast television at WGN TV in Chicago. So I worked there for 2 years before moving to Los Angeles. But I run on Frasier, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and then numerous feature films for various production companies and studios, and produce a lot of unscripted television. So, but my passion is history, and I'm segueing into writing historical fiction. So, let's see, it is 5:03. Give 2 more minutes to start at 5:05, and then I'm just gonna get going. And these sessions are normally just about an hour, 25 minutes of working, 10-minute break to check in to see how you're doing in your writing process or whatever project you happen to be working on. And then from there, then 25 more minutes of working, and then we call it a day. But at least that part. And it's like one thing I love about getting up early and doing this was if I, I have the rest of the day, um, and then if I want to go back and take a nap, I can, you know, or if I'm working on a show, which I'm currently not on one right now, but when I go back to working on a show, I can do this in 5 a.m. and then start getting ready for work to go work on my show. So, let me get this thing up here. So, yes. Alrighty. Well, I am just going to get going. Hit the little timer, and whoever joins, just go ahead and pop in the chat that you're here. All right. All right. That was the 25 minutes. Let me set this for 10. And I will take a little break to talk about what I just researched. So, for those that don't know, that so the story I'm writing about is Peter Crosby. He was formerly enslaved, but elected as a sheriff in 1873. In 1874, he was forced to resign by a mob of 600 people. And so from there, he went to Jackson to visit the governor, Governor Ames, and let him know that he was forced out of office. Governor Ames said, "You were rightfully elected. You need to go back and gather people to support you." He was a Republican, so he put in a bill, a handbill is what it was called, in the newspaper, calling all Republicans, black and white, to support him to go get back into his office to get reseated. So when he did this, it stirred up many of the white people in Vicksburg. This was Vicksburg, Mississippi. And so basically, the white people got really afraid. And the white supremacist was like, "No, we're not going to let him back in office." And a lot of things ensued, which led to the Vicksburg Massacre, where hundreds of people were killed. And so what I'm going through the research right now is the testimonies. There was a congressional hearing that was held. And I'm currently reading the testimony of Andrew Owen. And he's being questioned by the Congressman, Mr. Spear, who was a Democrat. And so the way the Democrats at that time, they really were trying to make it seem that Peter is the one that insinuated the massacre, that his actions by gathering people to help him get back in office is what caused the massacre. So as I'm going through all these questions, and this is constantly asking or constantly interrogating Andrew on about, well, did Peter Crosby tell you to do this? Did he tell you to arrest white people? Did he tell you, to just gather white people up off the street? Just everything that, but he, Owen is like, no, we're just there to support him to get back in office. Sure is bothering me. So anyway, so but so that so it was really interesting because he's constantly going after him about all of these different things. Owen is really standing his ground, and I think about that during this time because their testimony. See, it happened. I think I have to go back and look, but I think it was in December of 74, and it ran into the top of 75. And for those of you like Reconstruction ended in 77. So many white supremacist groups started really threatening the voting and really scared a lot of Black people to not turn up at the polls. And so yeah, and then therefore we had Jim Crow era for almost 100 years after that. But it was really interesting to see and just really, what am I trying to say? that so many Black people were elected, Black men were elected during this time period. And I talk a lot about this on TikTok. After I'm done with this write-in, a couple of hours from now, I'm going on TikTok Live to get more in detail about all of the actual events that happened that led up to this moment, and more about Peter Crosby's life. Um, but I just think about the resilience and how just how what fear it must have been so frightening to actually testify. Many Black people did not testify because they were afraid for their lives. I mean, this massacre went over a number of days. It wasn't just, one day of shooting and so forth. It went over a few days, and and they were just completely terrified. Many ran off into the woods instead, stayed hidden. Um, and as we know from a lot of our own history, from our own families, they never really talked a lot about what happened. My family is from Mississippi, from rural Mississippi, and I was blessed to have my great grandparents in the same household with me growing up, and they were born in the late 1800s. Um, but you could tell, the wear and tear on them from living in such dire times, and and because things were so horrific during those time periods, many did not share what happened, and I'm really curious about any other people that may know about, even the descendants of Peter Crosby, or, Andrew Owen, or any of the other people, um, Alfred Dorsey, Thomas Cardoza, um, any of, these figures. Many of them served in the military during the Civil War. Um, and, it's just really something else that they were able to go through, live through this and be resilient to, to fight for what was right. Because, you know, Peter Crosby could have just kowtowed and just resigned and let that be. But he, excuse me, after he was, forced to resign, he got on his horse, rode 12 miles to Andrew Owen's home, and then they, chatted before he got on the train to Jackson, Mississippi, to go see Governor Ames. And so that in and of itself, oh yeah, let me do this because I'm like, my hair's cut off there. Okay. Mhm. But anyway, I'm not going to wear this shirt again. It's just driving me crazy that I can't get it all situated here. Anywho, here we go. Okay. Anywho, so, but I see I have 2 more minutes for my own little break here. And so, again, if you like, please follow me on TikTok. It's the same handle as this, at the Danita Jones. And I go into more details about these stories. And as I'm uncovering more and more, I've been researching Peter Crosby's story for quite some time, but with working a lot, I been, and then with life happening too, is I kept getting pulled aside or distracted to focus on it. But right now, I really want to get all the research done, and and actually just start the writing process because it's well overdue. Um, and so, let's see what else. Anything else to mention? Um, Oh, and that's why, I started to do this whole writing challenge, even just for myself, just to write with me, um, 30 days, because I just need to get back into the routine. And once I'm in the routine, then I normally am good until something else happens. And then I just do another challenge for myself. And then I decided, you know what, let's just put this out here because I'm sure other people also need to or want to get back into their own projects and get going. So, and I hope this helps. And if you're watching this later, um, if you ever need any, writing tips or anything, like I said, I've been writing professionally for about 30 years. And got sold my first script or got my first offer in 2 years after I moved out here, which is pretty unheard of. So, and there we go. Time to get back to it. So, all right, 25 more minutes. See. Oh, hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. I will be wrapping up in about 8, you know, 10 minutes. I this is such a morning that was so hard to get out of bed, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get here. I'll let you continue. Awesome. All righty. Well, that is the time. Um, I'm still in the testimony of Andrew Owen, and he's pretty much being interrogated by one of the Democratic congressmen, Mr. Spear, and Spears is going in hard on him about things. So they're trying to accuse Crosby and his people that they're the ones that caused the massacre. It was because of them that they did this, and so but he's going in on him, and but Owen is holding his ground, and so I just know that's going to be a great scene when I get to it, because yeah, it's so crazy. So, but I'm so happy you came, and then so I know you say you're going to keep working. I'm going to end this live and get on with the rest of my day, but I will see you tomorrow. Will you be here tomorrow? Right, it was so much drama. I mean, they're going in, he's going in hard on him, and I'm actually going to go on TikTok later today to talk more about it and actually read some of these lines, because it is intense. Like, even when he talks about, like, asking him about taking the oath to be able to go out there um uh to protect Crosby and so forth. He's like, did you kiss the Bible? I'm like, what? And then the line that I just stopped on, the Spear asked them, like, so when your men fired, and I was like, my men never fired. And so it's like that was them. That was everyone else that was trying to keep Crosby out of office. So, but yeah, a lot of drama. He was going in, and on was like, I'm not having it. That is not true. So so, well, hopefully I will see you tomorrow. I mean, I will be here tomorrow. Hopefully I see you tomorrow, and let's keep this going. I'm so um, proud of you that you're up here with me and doing this. And yeah, let's get this work done, get it in. Talk to you later.